Alright, this is huge. Meta just released v55, the latest update for the Meta Quest 2 and the Meta Quest Pro, bringing some must-have improvement in performance and graphics. Akita here, so welcome to the VR Tech channel. Without wasting any time, let's discover this update together in this video with also all the parts that Meta didn't even mention. So well, let's get into it. Let's start right away with the must-have and biggest part of this update, the higher clock speeds on the Quest Pro and the Quest 2. So with v55, they're actually updating the GPU and CPU of the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro, where both headsets will get an increase in CPU performance of 26%, while about the GPU we're gonna have a 19% for the Quest 2 and the 11% for the Quest Pro. And with this video that you're seeing right now, you can see how much more resolution the Quest 2 can actually render with this new update on the same games, where the clock speed went from around 380-400 MHz to 600 circa, apparently even higher than the Pico 4, that always had a bit of a hedge compared to the Quest 2. But hey, all these numbers are absolutely amazing, but what are we gonna get? Well, of course, much better visuals because of the bump in resolution in games, and also a smoother gameplay in the games that were struggling a bit before, like VR chat, for example. Are these changes gonna be noticeable right away? Well, it depends. In terms of smoothness, yes, because everything will be smoother, from the menus to games. Of course, in terms of resolution, well, the games are gonna need to be updated by developers. And with v55, developers have another trick up to their sleeves, and that's dynamic resolution. Now, this one has to be enabled by them for their applications, of course, but its ability to actually lower down the resolution when needed to assure a smoother gameplay every time in every game. You know, you get to the VR game where there are too many explosions or too many players at the same time and performance starts to struggle a bit. Instead, with dynamic resolution, they can lower resolution just in the moment that is needed to assure always 90 Hz or 72 Hz, depends on the game, making it smoother and at the same time avoid some motion sickness that usually happens when you have dips in frame rate. Just bear in mind though that, as we said, games have to be updated to actually use the dynamic resolution or to increase resolution itself and use this new update in GPU and CPU, but I'm sure we're gonna see many taking advantage of this. Can we get just 1 second to appreciate how much this headset, the Quest 2, is getting love from Meta itself? When they started, well, we didn't have many features, and now it's another headset completely. I will suggest it even more than before if we didn't have the Quest 3 just sneaking in very soon. But I digress, let's get going with this update. Messenger just got a new VR app. This is like the Android app directly in there. It looks like a phone and you can interact with it like a phone instead of using the web app like they were doing before. Now it's just an Android application with many more features in there. So if it's something that you were using before, well, it just got better. Another update is to the Explorer tab. Now, I'm not very excited by this. I'm gonna be honest, I don't love the Explorer tab. I think that is a lot of like advertising and that's about it. And it's the landing page of this console. There is the Quest platform. But in the new Explorer app, you're gonna see short form videos, media content. You're even gonna be able to explore new worlds in Meta Horizon if you're using that. On top of that, if you have an Instagram or Facebook account connected to your Meta account, you can actually also see Reels from Instagram and Facebook. You're welcome. Now, because the interaction is getting very similar to just using a phone in a spatial place, well, they actually improved also the multi-touch for your hand interaction in the menus. So in the browser, for example, you're gonna be able to zoom in, zoom out like you're doing in a phone. Now, not really, you can't do it with that one hand, as you can see, and you can't do it even with the pointers. It gets very buggy or something, but using your fingers with the hand tracking or your controllers, you're gonna be able to zoom in and zoom out and well, you see the result. For sure, it's more natural and intuitive right now. It's not perfect, but not bad either. And also another update to the touch features is that you can actually just swipe away notifications like you usually do in a phone. So again, a very intuitive and easy to use step. And now let's get to the updates that weren't featured actually on the blog. We're talking about the improvement for the eye tracking for the MetaQuest Pro. It's not really clear how they did that, but you should expect better eye tracking, of course, in games and apps that use it. Unfortunately, there are not many of those available. Maybe they want to start to experiment with the eye gaze menus that we saw on the Vision Pro from Apple, but hey, for now will be an improvement for your avatar, I guess. There's now a new Wi-Fi menu. You have to go in the experimental options and there's just at the bottom. So when you click on Wi-Fi, you don't have the classic old Android menu that popped up in v54 and v53, I believe. But yeah, it's gonna look better, you know, like it's part of the Quest OS. Now this is tricky and I don't really like it. There's a new update to the app library where you can't actually access the drop-down menu anymore from the app library page. For some reason they removed it. For that, don't worry, you just have to click on the search button and then the drop-down menu will appear over there. Maybe to make it cleaner, maybe to hide the unknown sources. Don't worry, you're gonna be able to get to your Quest optimizer or anything that you're using. And this is good news for the PCVR users that updated to 54 and saw Link completely broken with random stuttering during gameplay or just a plain black screen. Well, v55 actually fixed Link with the cable. For me, AirLink still doesn't work for some reason, even after a factory reset, but Virtual Desktop actually works very well as before. I always prefer the app compared to AirLink, and now there's also a new update for it with something that weirdly we didn't see yet arriving to the Quest platform, and is the Snapdragon Game Super Resolution. This is a technique similar to FSR or DLSS for NVIDIA and AMD graphic cards. In this case, it uses the color buffer to actually upscale the image that arrives at lower resolution. That means that it's gonna give less weight to the encoding and decoding and push out more performance. Games will look better even if the file arrived to lower resolution. At the same time though, there's another update over there for Virtual Desktop to use the 10-bit encoding that looks absolutely glorious, and I absolutely suggest to turn it on because if you have enough bitrate to use, the color banding is kind of almost gone. But anyway, this was update v55 for the MetaQuest 2 and the MetaQuest Pro. For sure a must-have update after the mess that was the v54, but also a must-have update because performance-wise we get a big improvement in this headset, and it's very rare to see something happening like this on consumer products. Usually they just tell you, hey, buy the new one, and no, not in this case. We're gonna have a higher resolution, smoother gameplay, in the same thing that we used from around 2 years, and that's cool. On the back side of the medal though, well, we have still a very unstable software. It's from some releases from around the V50 that the software is not as stable as before. It gets very buggy mostly on the Quest Pro if you have it. I hope you don't have my same experiences, but I find myself restarting more than I would like to actually have things just functioning regularly. So here you have it, v55. Let me know what you think about it in the comment below. Let me know what you would like to see from the next update. And do you have the same problems that I have with instability with the new softwares? Let me know in the comment below. And as always guys, if you liked the video, like. If you didn't like the video, dislike. Subscribe to the channel for more VR tech. If you really love the channel, there's a join button there. A little them further, also the Patreon. Thanks to all the patrons who joined the channel, of course. And if you're wondering, I fell from the stairs. I feel very 60 right now. I see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Ciao.